Welcome back to What Healing Knows. Before we begin, take one breath with me. A small return to yourself. Healing begins in moments exactly like this one. After more than 20 years in medicine, one truth has remained constant. The body already knows how to heal. What it needs is for us to listen. What healing knows is an invitation to do exactly that. To slow down, to listen, to return to yourself without pressure and without judgment. I'm Dr. Kitty. We have arrived to segment 4, Honoring the Truth. This is episode 1, The Body Knows First. In this reflection, we explore what the body knows before the mind can explain it, what it means to listen, and why honoring the body's truth is where healing begins. Let's start right here where you are. Honoring the truth. Introduction. Truth is not something you find outside of you. It's a return to yourself. The Los Angeles County Hospital did not apologize for what it was. A Depression-era building from the east side of the city, built when the country needed something that could hold the weight of human suffering without collapsing under it. And for decades, it did. Floor by floor, ward by ward, corridor by corridor, the walls themselves seemed to carry memory. Inside, nothing was wasted on comfort. The floors were worn into a permanent gray that no amount of mopping could brighten. The ceilings were high and indifferent. In certain rooms, old EKG machines still clung to the walls, their faded dials no longer turning, remnants of another era left behind because there was always something more urgent to tend. He lay in a standard hospital bed beneath fluorescent lights, a banana bag glowing yellow on one side and clear fluids running on the other. The bag carried thiamine and B vitamins, the things alcohol slowly drains from the body. Then all at once, it was not his first one. I could tell by the way he looked at it. No curiosity, no alarm, just something happening again. I was doing rounds that morning when I introduced myself and asked how he was doing. Work, home, sleep, repeat, he said. That's my life. He did not say it with bitterness. He said it the way someone commented on the weather. I gave him the reasons I had rehearsed for patients struggling with alcohol. You know things can change, right? Life could become something different. I believe that. I still do. He looked at me for a moment. What do you know about life? He said. You're too young to know anything. He was not wrong. I was young. But I had already seen enough to recognize what happens when a body carries truth for too long without being listened to. He was not old, not in years, but alcohol and tobacco had done their quiet work. The dark circles beneath his eyes and the exhaustion that sat deeper than sleep carried the record honestly. His marriage was falling apart. His children were struggling. The government job still got done somehow, but being present inside his own life had become painful. So he drank until the noise quieted and the pain felt numb enough to survive, enough to drown the body's truth. I asked him how long things had been this way. He paused. That's just the way I am, he said. It is what it is. I wrote it down. Not because it was a clinical finding, but because I had heard it before. From myself, from exhausted people, from successful people, from young people, from old people. That's just the way I am. It is what it is. These are some of the sentences we reach for when truth feels too heavy to hold directly. They sound honest, but often they're simply safe. They close the door gently and allow us to keep functioning without honoring the body's truth that something is wrong. Because the mind says, that's just the way it is. Yes, the unheard body speaks the truth louder, with withdrawal, with high blood pressure, with headaches, with broken sleep, with fatigue that rest does not fix. And that was what brought him to the hospital. This is not a story about weakness or shame. It's about listening to the body's truth before it has to raise its voice. In segment 3, Devotion and Discipline, we built trust through repetition, small acts of care, rituals, and beginning again. We now move from trust to truth, the body's truth. So take a breath, open your heart, and let us begin with episode 1, The Body Knows First. The body does not argue with you. It simply waits until you're ready to listen. Truth lives in the body, patient and certain, waiting for the moment you're willing to listen. I met her on an ordinary morning. She was in her early 50s, admitted overnight for chest pain, and she already looked determined to be fine. Her daughter sat beside the bed, still wearing yesterday's clothes, her arms folded tightly across her chest. The room was dim except for the pale blue glow of the monitor beside the bed. The woman looked up at me and smiled politely. I told her I was fine, she said, glancing towards her daughter. She worries too much. Her daughter did not smile back. On the monitor beside the bed, the rhythm of her heart traced itself across the screen in uneven peaks and valleys. Still, she sat there trying to make herself smaller than what her body was saying. I asked how long she had been having symptoms. Oh, it's nothing, she said quickly. Just stress. I've been tired lately. She's been saying that for months, whispered her daughter as she lowered her eyes to her hands. The heart monitor filled the silence between us. Beep, beep, beep. The woman turned her gaze towards the window, towards something far beyond the hospital walls. And then, very quietly, she said, I just thought if I kept going, it would pass. How many of us live that way? Smiling politely, saying we are fine, normalizing exhaustion, ignoring what hurts. But the body does not stop telling the truth simply because we ignore it. It keeps speaking through pain, through fatigue, through tightness in the chest, through sleepless nights. Patient, consistent, true, waiting for us to listen before the words come. In What Healing Knows, when we speak of truth, we're not referring to words. I have told many lies, mostly small ones, the kind everyone tells. I'm fine. I'm not tired. It doesn't bother me. For a long time, I believed truth lived only in what I said. I believed honesty was mostly about language. But truth, as I have come to understand it, is deeper than speech. It is the way you hold your life by listening to what your body is telling you. The body is the vehicle for carrying your life forward, and like any vehicle, it signals when something needs attention. A warning light appears, a strange sound begins, something no longer moves the way it should. You pause, you listen, you respond before greater damage is done. The body works much the same way. Its purpose is not to work against you. Its purpose is to protect the life it carries. And it will continue speaking as long as necessary in tension, in exhaustion, in heaviness, in relief. No matter who you are, what you believe, where you come from, how much you have, the body does not weigh any of that. It does not sort by circumstances or status. What it carries honestly. And when you listen to it, you come into contact with something that does not lie. That's what honoring truth means here. Not confession, not disclosure, not performance. Listening. Listening to the tightening in your chest before you say yes when you mean no. Listening to the exhaustion that follows pretending. Listening to the quiet relief that comes when something honest is finally acknowledged. The body does not ask you to become someone else. It asks you to listen. What the body never says. The body never tells you to hate. The body never tells you to stay where you're diminished. The body never tells you to shrink yourself to fit a space that was never meant for you. The body never tells you to perform, to pretend, or to keep moving when what's true is that you need to stop. The body never tells you to eat past fullness or starve past hunger. And the body never tells you to reach for something, to silence what it's trying to say. These messages are learned from fear, from conditioning, from pain repeated long enough that it begins to feel normal. But the body remains honest beneath them, not to punish you, but to carry your life forward with as much wholeness as it can. And when you stop listening to it, the body does not become silent. It simply speaks louder. The body tells the truth, and healing often begins when you listen. The cost of overriding the truth. Most people do not lose connection with themselves all at once. It happens gradually, one ignored signal at a time. You are tired, but you continue anyway. You are uneasy, but call yourself dramatic. You're grieving, but stay busy enough not to meet it fully. You're full, but you keep eating anyway. You're alert, but you remain in bed. And slowly, a separation between what the body's asking for and the way you live begins. And the mind widens the distance with explanations like, you're fine. It's not that serious. You just need to push through it. And over time, the signals get diminished. But the body keeps an honest record through all of it because its purpose is to protect the life it carries. At first, the signals seem small, easy to ignore, easy to explain away, but what begins as tension may become anxiety. What begins as fatigue may become illness. What begins as emotional disconnection may eventually become a life that no longer feels fully lived. And healing begins by pausing long enough to listen, returning to the body's truth. Most of us try to understand ourselves by thinking harder. We replay conversations, we analyze every feeling, we search for answers in our thoughts. But thoughts are not always true. They come from fear, pressure, memory, shame, or survival. They change quickly. They pull us away from the truth. But the body continues to tell the truth. So let's pause, listen, and give it the attention it deserves. Close your eyes if it feels safe, and take 3 slow breaths. Then gently ask yourself, what is my body asking for right now? Your body may be asking for rest, maybe for movement, or maybe for water, or maybe for stillness. Honor what it asked. If your mind interrupts, return to your breath. If you did not hear it, begin again. If you did not honor what it asked, begin again. Over time, listening becomes trust, and trust becomes a way back to yourself, to what has always been true. The beginning. There are moments when you know something before you can explain it. You walk into a room and immediately feel guarded. You say yes while your chest quietly tightens. Before the words come, the body already knows, like my patient who kept saying she's fine while the heart traced another story across the monitor beside her bed. Honoring truth begins in the moment you stop overriding what your body has been trying to tell you all along. That is the beginning. If you have listened this far, you have taken the first step. That is not a small thing. That is the fire beginning to stir. Thank you for letting me walk beside you on this part of your journey. If this reflection spoke to something in you, share your thoughts in the comments. Your words matter here, and they often become the reminder someone else needed to hear. And if you share your experience on social media, find me on Instagram at drkidi.healing. I would love to stay connected on this path with you. Until next time, keep listening, keep returning. Healing knows the way. With love and more love, Dr. Kidi.